Hey guys, welcome back to Marriages Restored in Faith. My name is Ray.
Hi guys, my name is Dora. It is Monday, December 30th, 2024. Just a couple more days and then it's 2025.
Yep. On the last video, I started straight to it, and Dora actually had to stop me and start saying, hopefully everybody had a good Christmas, enjoyed themselves.
Yes.
It's just, I was ready to start back on our schedule and back into warning people, back into getting back on track. Because I know some of us get into the Christmas, into all the holidays, which we do. And we get busy in that, and for some reason it just goes above us thinking about anything else, which it's okay sometimes to sit back and relax. There's nothing wrong to take a breather, to relax and enjoy yourselves. In fact, that is a stress reliever, to just take a vacation, and it doesn't have to spend a lot of money, but just take a vacation, go sit somewhere in a cabin, or just go fishing, whatever it is that helps you just relax. Some people it's golf, some people it's hunting, others, I mean, it's fishing, some is, and it don't have to be shopping, but just window shopping.
Yeah, just to be out, just to be out, away from everything else. So, yeah.
And some people say, well, I don't like to go to the mall. I don't like to go to the mall either. But some people, that helps them just to go out walking, to get some exercise.
Yes.
And that's part of the thing that we all have to keep doing. So, as you see right here, controlled chaos, collapse, shortages, and demonic activity. This is going to be a two-part. We're going to do one today, which is Monday, and we're going to do one on Wednesday, which is possibly New Year's Day.
Yeah, it's New Year's Day.
It'll be New Year's Day.
January 1st.
Yeah. So we just have to get back on track. Right now, we're still trucking. What do I mean by that? We're still moving forward and prepping. We're still moving forward and planning. We are still moving forward because people don't realize what is coming, what is planned. And that's why I said control chaos, control collapse, control shortages. And you might think that demonic activity is not controlled, but it is controlled. It literally is controlled. And you may say, how is that? Well, in God's word, it says a house divided does not stand. So if the demonic beings are not working together, it won't stand. It won't work. It won't function as it does right now. And that's how it is functioning, because they work together. Just like Christians work together, but not all of them. So I'm not going to go into that. We're going to try to stay with the subject, because I could go on a huge rant. Go on a huge rant. So I want to play this for you first. So if you give me number 10, and I want you to pay attention, we're going to run this twice. I want you to see this, because this is what's happening today. People are screaming from the rooftops, telling people, hey, hold on to something, hang on, because it's about to be a rough ride. And this is what people are doing. People are going about their business, thinking that nothing is going to happen, thinking that this person that's about to come in January 20th is going to just repair and fix everything and change everything. And that's further from the truth. And as you see, this crab is being boiled right now, just being boiled as you see it. And it's eating. Think about that. It is being cooked, and it's eating while it's being cooked. And this is a good example of what's happening today. People are going about their business thinking that nothing is going to happen, that these false prosperity teachers are just telling them, keep giving your money and you're going to get rich. Listening to these other people that once number 45 gets in there, everything's going to change. He's going to fix everything. The economy is going to come back. He's going to deport all these illegals. He's going to fix everything. The food shortage is going to stop, and so on. And that's further from the truth. And this is what people are doing. Just sitting there, going about their business, eating, thinking everything's going to be okay. And it's not. It really is not. It's going to catch people off guard. Just think of it. 1929 was the Great Depression. So think of that. Those people, and I guarantee you there was people prepared, people ready during that time that you don't even hear of much like you hear from the other people, because there was more people unprepared compared to the people that were prepared.
Yes.
Think of that. Those people, they could live it all over again. I guarantee they would say, you know what, I would have prepped, I would have stocked up on food, I would have had my finances in order as best as I could, I would have been out of debt as much as I could, I would have bought more things in cash, I would have invested differently, and so on. I would have grown my own food, stored up some food, and so on. And then you have those that did it and said, see, this is why you have to prepare, because you can't rely on the government. Because if you go back and you can see those pictures of people in line waiting just to get bread. And then at the end of the line, those people that waited for hours didn't even get bread because they ran out of bread.
Yeah. And if you go back, just, in 2020, when all that chaos went, you can go back and see video after video on the preppers that were already ready. They were ready, just like back then in 1929. They were already ready. They didn't have the issues that everybody else that was running, to get toilet paper, to go get, your the food, the canned foods and stuff. They didn't have that issue because they prepared. They were already preparing. And that's what we say, it's preparedness, but it's also a life change. You have to change the way you think every time you go to the grocery store, every time you order in your bulk items. You have to think way ahead. How am I going to preserve this food?
Okay. And you might say, well, I don't believe all that's going to happen. Well, let me show you something, because we have about 13 videos. We're not going to get to all 13 videos, but we will get to the rest of them on Wednesday, and we may have more by that time as well. Let me show you, if you can give me number 5, I want to show you what it is. It's going to be. And I was listening to this gentleman. He was talking about, he was a homesteader, and he was discussing, look, I'm preparing for my kids, because my kids are not going to be able to purchase a home by the time, and they're at that age, because of the way how expensive everything is getting. But I want you to listen to this. We're going to just play the beginning of it, and I'll let you know when to turn off. Go ahead.
Richard Bellote loves the view from his backyard.
Every morning I get up and I go outside with the dogs and I have a cup of coffee.
But he doesn't own this brand new house. In fact, it's not for sale. His Montgomery, Texas community is part of a rapidly growing trend in the U.S. housing market. Blocks of single-family homes built specifically to rent.
It's a good stepping stone.
Despite saving diligently to buy a home,
the interest rates are just too high to manage.
He and his fiancée feel priced out of their house hunt.
And just really kind of crossing our fingers that those rates go down.
Stepping stone in what is likely to be an overpriced rental unit that was specifically built not for working class Americans to be able to afford and buy in order to build wealth, but specifically for lease. Now, look, typically, I don't have a problem with that, right? I think when you increase housing stock, that is a good thing. But we need to increase housing stock for both rentals and houses for families to be able to purchase. So they can, Let
me take it off. I just wanted to show you this. The reason I showed you this is because you see this mindset that they're putting into people. It's too expensive to purchase a home. And the American dream, we've been doing it all wrong. Americans have been doing the American dream all wrong. What do I mean? You know that term, keeping up with the Joneses, right? What do people do? Well, I want a bigger house. I want a 2-story house. I want that fancy car. I want that expensive car because someone else has this, and so on. You get with coworkers, and a coworker purchases a new house, and you're like, oh, I need to go live in that neighborhood too because I need to keep up with them. This couple should be looking at you saying, you know what? Instead of living here, maybe we need to downsize and possibly purchase a house, even though interest rate is higher, but we need to get to a smaller house and live within our means. Maybe it's possible that they can't even afford to purchase a smaller house. But this is where it's going. This is what's happening. It's a controlled economic collapse. It's a controlled economic where people can't afford to purchase a home. And if you think you're going to be able to afford rent, rent's going to go up, just like groceries go up, just like gas prices go up. Everything that we have to purchase in order to live is going to go up. The only thing that doesn't go up is our wages. Think about that.
Sure.
Our wages never match by percentage what the cost of living is. It will never do it. It will never happen. Do you know why? Because the business that owns the business has to continue to go up on their prices in order to stay in business and pay the employees. If the employees outweigh the profits, then it's out of business. Now the employee is unemployed. So it will never happen. What am I saying? They're getting these people conditioned to say, you know what? We're going to build all these homes for rent only, not for you to purchase, because we have the billions and millions of dollars to build properties that you can never own, but you will always rent.
Yeah, and it goes back to you will
Own
love.
nothing. You will own nothing, be happy.
Yes, you will own nothing and be happy. It goes back to that. To that, what is that? That 2030.
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You will own nothing and be happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what their agenda is.
Think about that. This is what's happening right now. They're setting this up to think of this. If they're renting, and I've heard when we went to go talk to a gentleman. This gentleman had rented that property for 20 years. Think about that. He could have already bought a house, but he rented the property for 20 years. And you may say, maybe his credit was bad and he couldn't purchase a house. Maybe he didn't have the down payment and he couldn't purchase the house. There are ways to get around that by either savings, cutting back on stuff that we don't need, driving an old vehicle without payments for however long it takes for us to save up money to purchase a house. There are ways we can do things instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses. But this is what happened. It is a setup. We are about to see a huge collapse. It's going to be 1929 is going to look like a walk in the park compared to what's about to happen.
Yes.
Do you know why? Because there's going to be food shortages, economic collapse, and wars at the same time. It's going to happen. Let me keep going. Let me show you what else. Let me show you, if you can give me, we're going to go all over the place because I want you to see all of this in different areas. If you can give me number 6, just bear with me. We have a lot of videos. You can give me number 6, and I want you to see, not only do we have to deal with the economy, food shortages, we have to deal with people that are these illegals, call them what they are, not migrants, illegals, and look at the crimes that they're committing.
Police are investigating a brazen robbery in an upscale Koreatown apartment building.
Yeah, the crook stole hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash and jewelry from a horrified couple, but it's how the criminals were dressed that has the attention of the investigators. Rachel Menitoff joining us live from Koreatown with more on that. Rachel?
Rick Court, they were dressed as cops, impersonating police officers. And according to one report, some of the burglars had mock police radios as part of their attire, and at least one had a semi-automatic gun. Now, it happened inside this luxury apartment complex on Wilshire Boulevard in Koreatown. People who live in the area say it's well populated, at least during the day, and it's surprising to hear that this happened in such a secure building. Here's video showing the aftermath of the burglary and the police response. According to LAPD, 4 burglars, some with black ski masks and police-style attire, stole apparently hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cash and jewelry from one of the apartments here. The suspects assaulted one of the residents and then ran away. Everyone is okay, thankfully, but people who live nearby say if it can happen here at this building, it can probably happen at other ones too.
if we live in this neighborhood and somebody's dressed up as a police official, I mean, that's scary. I mean, uncomfortable to live, to be honest. Yeah.
Any idea how they'd be able to gain access to what seems like a well-secured apartment complex?
I mean, to me, it would seem like they're comfortable. They understand what's going on, so that's how they got in, right? So maybe they had it in. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but.
LAPD says at least 2 of the suspects were also wearing gray hoodies. They believe this group is in their 20s and 30s, and they're still at large. That's the latest from Koreatown. I'm Rachel Menitoff. I'll send it back to both of you in studio.
Very unfortunate, Rachel. Thank you, though.
20s and 30s, isn't that what we've been seeing coming across the border?
Mm-hmm.
Middle-aged men, right? 20s and 30s. You might say, well, they didn't say they were illegals. Think about it. Who are these people that, as I said it before, the type of crimes that you see happening in other countries are about to happen here in the United States. And I'm going to share some more with you. Some other crimes that happen in other countries are happening here, and they literally tell you that these are illegals doing this. As I said, things are about to change, and we have to adapt. I'm not saying we have to go ahead and accept it. I'm saying we're going to have to adapt, and we're going to have to change, and we're going to have to not be complacent.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to pay attention more. Let me keep going. Let me show you. We'll go to this one. If you can give me number 7. Like I said, I want to do a whole place because I want you to get the idea of how everything is just going to be at the same time. Different things are going to be happening in different locations. One area is not, for instance, up north you may have snowstorms, and the other area may have hurricanes, tornadoes, may have other things. But think about this. This is in winter time, in December, and this is what's happening. Weather modifications.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Pat Kavlin. And Pat, you've been on it all afternoon. What a wild couple of days of weather here in Greater Houston. What are you tracking now?
You're not kidding. I mean, it's just not just today. This is the 3rd event of severe weather that we've had so far this week. Here are the tornado reports from today. There's 8 reports on the map. They're going to filter this down to eventually show that there were probably 4 to 5 confirmed tornadoes across the area. Let's start with some of these reports. This was the first one that we got in the Katy area. This is where our Michelle Choi was earlier in the day. Tornado damage was in a mobile park home near Noel Lane. We saw cars flipped over, extensive damage, even to brick homes and to roofs. Some of the worst damage that we saw today was up in the Porter Heights area. Mobile homes destroyed, brick homes severely damaged. One of the fire departments up there in East Montgomery sustained significant damage as well. Then as the afternoon went on, the threat focused more down to the south. It started in Alvin, where we had multiple homes destroyed. There was substantial damage along County Road 191A and State Route 35. We had a fatality in Liverpool. And then finally, that tornado made its way all the way across Galveston Bay and into Chambers County, where a car was thrown near Smith Point, possibly seeing some injuries there. And it continued out towards the Seabreeze community, where it eventually made its way out into Jefferson County. Now we take a look at radar and things are a lot quieter. The storms have now moved off towards the east. We are totally done with the severe threat, and the tornado threat is over. In fact, our rain chances are really done now.
Okay. All this didn't just happen in Houston. It went all the way up to Mississippi. There were confirmed tornadoes on the ground up in Mississippi as well. Wintertime. Wintertime. Could it be weaponized? Weather weaponized. And you explain this to people after they've admitted to doing it, and they laugh. They don't believe it. They're like that crab sitting in that boiling water eating, thinking that nothing's happening.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you remember that woman, that young woman in her 20s that was burned alive at the New York subway, did you notice that there's video? Okay. Why is there video? Because somebody was sitting there or standing there recording it instead of doing anything about it. People, nobody's coming for you. Nobody's going to come and help you. You're going to have to be ready to help yourself, help one another. And let me show you this video, and this is what I'm talking about. If you can give me number 11, and this is the same thing. And this is a young kid, and somebody is standing there recording this. And then you have 2 other people, two grown people
Yeah.
standing there watching this young kid being attacked by a dog. Think about that. They're standing there. One doesn't even jump in there to get after it. And the other person recording the whole thing instead of jumping in and saying, these people are not doing anything about it. Keep in mind, people are going to be recording attacks, going to be recording things that they should be getting involved to help another human being.
Right, which is a way of conditioning people that, you know, don't get involved, you know, just play it on there.
It won't show?
It's not available anymore.
Uh-huh. Okay, was it available earlier? Okay. Maybe I have it on my phone. If we can get my phone back over here, then I'll go ahead and check it. So, while that's going, let me go ahead and have you play this one then, and then you can grab my phone. So, let me play this one so you can see this one. Number 3, if you can give me number 3. Like I said, and then we'll go back to the other one so you can see this. Now, you're going to hear this is an illegal, not a migrant. I'm glad somebody said it's. I've always called them illegals because they are illegals, plain and simple.
You're coming here illegally.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma City police arrested a 35-year-old man wanted for kidnapping and robbery in Haltom City. Good evening, I'm Alex Boyer. Haltom City police say the suspect kidnapped a 22-year-old woman at gunpoint on Christmas Eve. He made her withdraw $400 from an ATM, then drove around for an hour before tying her to a tree in Grapevine and driving off in her car. On Christmas Day, Oklahoma City police officers say the armed suspect was found sleeping in the stolen car. Fox 4's Amelia Jones spoke with police and joins us now with more. Amelia.
Alex, Haltom City police say the suspect admitted to the crimes and told detectives he just needed money. Police say the suspect has committed similar crimes before across the country. This time, they hope he's locked up for a significant period of time. On Christmas Eve morning, a 22-year-old woman was leaving for work at the Acacia Apartments. Haltom City police say she was approached by an armed man in a mask who forced her in the backseat of her car and made her withdraw money from an ATM. The suspect then drove her car to Grapevine and left the victim near the Camden Apartments on Grapevine Mills Parkway, then took off in her car.
Obviously, she was terrified. No one expects this kind of thing walking outside early in the morning on Christmas Eve.
The victim was able to get help and call police. She gave officers a description of her car and the armed assailant. Haltom City Police shared the information in a national database. Less than 24 hours later, on Christmas Day, there was a hit in Oklahoma City.
One of the Oklahoma City Police Department officers found him sleeping in the same car in a parking lot.
Oklahoma City police arrested the driver, identified as 35-year-old Eduardo Javier Ordonez Godoy. Godoy is originally from Honduras. Police say he claimed to be affiliated with a gang there. He confessed to the crimes, saying he just needed money. But what stuck out to the detectives was his behavior during the interview.
He smirked a lot. He giggled and, was almost proud of what he did.
According to an arrest warrant affidavit obtained by Fox 4, Godoy drove around with the victim for an hour and threatened to, quote, sell her organs or, quote, prostitute her. She told police, quote, all the things he was saying made her fear for her life. The documents go on to say when Godoy left the victim in Grapevine, he used her shoelace to tie her hands around a tree.
Just to give him enough time before she got to call 911.
Police say Godoy has committed similar crimes before and has even been arrested and deported back to Honduras. It's unclear how he got back into the U.S.
He claims that he's just a thief. He just wants money. But, in this case, clearly he went beyond that and brought a firearm into it.
Godoy is currently being held at the Oklahoma City jail. He's facing...
They get worse. They don't get better. It's just a fact. They get worse. They don't get better. The only way they get better is if they accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior and they read the Word, they change, renew their mind. That's the only way. Other than that, them not accepting Jesus, they will continue in this path and they will get worse. I'm surprised that young woman was not murdered, raped,
Yeah.
As I always told my kids, don't ever get in a vehicle with somebody. Plain and simple. If they're going to do something, they're going to do it right there in front of everybody, but they're not going to do it. If you get in the vehicle, it's more easier for them to do it somewhere else than to do it right there in public view in front of everyone. And your chances are better standing right there doing it in front of them instead of going somewhere else, because they'll take you to a remote location. So as you see, illegal from a different country. Now that video that we're talking about the dog, it's a playground. There's a dog that starts biting that kid and gets a hold of his leg, doesn't let go of the leg. There's a gentleman on top of one of the
monkey bars, like the little bars that they climb.
It's like the tube that you go in, monkey bars, the whole thing, and he's standing on top, hitting him with the stick. He doesn't get down. He doesn't jump down to grab that dog. He's bigger than the dog. And that kid is on the ground, and that dog is on his leg. He doesn't let go. There's a lady on the other side yelling, swinging her arms, and so on. He doesn't even get close. And then there's somebody at the top recording. I'm telling you, these people, it's sad. If you won't even get in there involved with a dog and get that dog out of there, poor child.
Yeah.
The video ends. We don't get to see what happened. So let's keep going. Now, let's go back. If you can give me number 4. Now, we'll go to number 4, and I want you to see. Again, we're going to go back to the economy. People are not realizing what's about to happen to the economy. It's going to happen no matter who gets in office. It's already, the ball is rolling. So we'll go ahead and play this one.
Let's bring in Peter Morici. He's a former U.S. International Trade Commission chief and an economist and business professor at the University of Maryland. Peter, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Take a look at what the marginal tax rates are going to do if these Trump tax cuts expire up and down the tax income brackets. You've got higher taxes at every level. Do you think Republicans will just extend this, or will there be changes? How does Congress deal with this?
Well, I think they'll be by and large extended and perhaps supplemented in some places because, the president-elect has talked about, for example, exempting tips. There's a terrible double taxation of 35% of most people's Social Security benefits. They pay taxes when they contribute the money, and then they pay taxes again when they get it back, which is absurd. So some of those things may be addressed as well. But let's face it, there's limits with the federal deficit being as large as it is. We have to be careful that we don't raise taxes by letting these benefits lapse, but we don't cut them too much more because of the deficit problem. Elon Musk, I wish him well, but he's not going to be able to find hundreds of billions of dollars in time for large tax cuts in 2026.
I mean, it seems like there are a few options here. You extend the tax cuts, you add some of the other tax provisions like no taxes on tips and all the other things. So
there you go. We all know about the taxes. We know that they tax everything. And then they continue to tax everything. And then they tax the money that you invest, and then they tax the money that when you get it out. They tax your Social Security, and then they tax it when you get it out. I mean, just think about all the taxes that you pay. It's not going to stop. It's the same thing with and your city council members. When they say, you know what, we're going to raise taxes to pay for this. Okay. Once that is paid for, where's that extra money going? No, you know what they do? Let me tax you for this other thing that we're going to do. We're going to do another project. And now we're going to raise taxes to build this project. Well, what about this project that you already finished? What about those taxes? And the project, it's paid for already. Why don't you use those taxes, move them over to pay that other project? Slow it down here. If you can give me number 12. And this is what we're seeing a lot too. You may say not this. No, we're seeing this a lot in places of people acting a fool. So look at this. didn't work out for them, right?
No.
Somebody decided to post that.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to end it there. Let me show you one more thing then. If you can give me number 10. And I know this is the hardest thing to get people to understand right now, and it still is. It is difficult to tell people, look, 2020 was planned. 2020 was a setup. It's still difficult to get people to understand that. Why? Because they decide to stay in that boiling water.
Mm-hmm.
They decide to stay in that same position that they're in. They don't want to admit that they were wrong, that they were deceived. They don't want to admit that they were lied to. So they'd rather stay there because to them it's comfortable. Why? Because the boiling water is doing it slowly. It's not rapidly. It gradually gets hot. It keeps going hot. As it's getting hotter, the body temperature is changing with it, just like when you take a shower. Your body temperature starts changing and gets comfortable with the water.
Mm-hmm.
You can turn up the water a little bit more, stay there a little bit longer, and your body still gets adjusted to the heat, right? It's the same thing right now. They're drastically just moving the temperature little by little by little. Economy, it's moving little by little by little. The crime, it's moving little by little by little. It's the same thing. And people are okay with it by sitting there thinking, you know, I'm going to continue eating. Everything's going to be okay. We got to wake up.
Yes.
We have to wake up. I heard a homesteader mention at this point, it's a little late for people to prepare. I heard him say at this point, it's a little late for people to prepare because 2025 is going to be chaotic. I agree with him on some point. Yeah, it's going to be chaotic. I agree with him on some point. Things are going to change. But it's never too late to prepare. Are you behind the curve? Absolutely.
There you go.
Are you really behind? Yes.
That's a way of seeing it. You know, you've got to speed it up as much as you can, you know, because things in 2024 is definitely going to be more in 2025, no matter how you see it. You know, if you haven't been preparing, you're definitely going to pay top dollar for whatever it is that you're going to start doing. But just like Ray said, you know, it's never too late. It's late whenever everything has hit the fan already and you have nothing.
It's late when people are all at the same time at the store, trying to get the last minute things because everything's already gone. Yeah. That's when it's too late. So guys, just get ready, prepare yourselves. We'll do part 2 on Wednesday. I don't want to make it too long today, but just get ready, prepare.
Yes.
Don't be in fear. Absolutely don't be in fear. Trust the Lord. You have to trust the Lord, but the Lord wants you to step up and do something as well.
Yes.
I mean, He does want you to do something. I was going to get into the other because I was going to get into the demonic, but we'll get into the demonic on Wednesday. I want you to see this video from these people that discussing this. So
yes. So enjoy your time. If you're getting together, you know, for the new year with your family members, you know, enjoy that time. I know some people do it in Christmas, but some people wait till New Year's, you know, to start fresh the new year. So enjoy your time with your family, but always, you know, pay attention of your surroundings. Pay attention when you're going out. If you're going to go out somewhere, you know, be a little bit more smart, you know, wiser to look at your surroundings, but still, you know, have a great time to fellowship with your family members. And we want to thank you again for joining us and have a great rest of your day. And we will see you on January 1st, 2025.